Hey guys, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? It's your girl Ruth. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Yeah, doom and gloom. Yeah, I've been movies, movies be telling you what's going on, right? And I'm just noticing it's going kind of with the visions and everything I've been getting. So this is added on to that. But I was noticing a lot of movies, but now I'm noticing even more now. Okay, like in the movie Sabrina, the kids movie Soul. Hey, friend, spy, whoever you was, can get into my private and still see. Could be YouTube. Anyway, um, and Sandman. Those three I'm focused on. Okay. It shows a part in the movie where despair, sorrow, doom and gloom, making you feel guilty, making you feel bad about yourself, so much so that you don't want to go to the next level. And we all know those are spirits, right? So I was thinking about medieval times, how it was doom and gloom outside, Um, So this might have something to do with that. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna read what I put, what I wrote down, the research I've been doing. It says the darkness from the beginning, ancient gods and goddesses from the beginning, and the beginning was dark, and in water, matter. So we got from the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. However that goes. And it says, oh, matter of fact, today is Jack the Ripper day that his first victim was found. I don't know why that has to do with anything. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read some of the things that happened on today. It was pretty interesting. Okay, come back to that. Okay, this was before the sun god Ra came. So this would explain why I saw the gods fighting and gods of old. It's their time to rule again, but the gods after them don't want to give up their place of rulership. Now, some of my Saturn and all of that, my last videos. Um, just something going on. Okay, if life repeats itself, like we keep on saying, um, reading, discovering, then wouldn't this be the age of Aquarius, Uranus, the planet? So we're gonna read a little bit about the planet. What is it about again? What is the planet about? It's the seventh planet from the sun, the Greek god of the sky, the great grandfather of Aries, the age of Aries, but the sign Aries as well, Mars, um, grandfather of Zeus. Okay, and I noticed in the movie that I meant to go back and look and see what the name of his wife was, or daughter, whatever it was, in Sabrina, no, in Sandman. And she was born by humans to help them discover their gifts. So this particular person was a writer, and he couldn't think of ideas. So he found Zeus's wife or daughter. I forgot which one. I'm gonna go back, make another video, because I see this just keep on going. It all fits together. It might, whatever. So so she called on the Sandman, and she asked him, which he was, the god of dreams, right? And she called on him to help her to make this man in his sleep and his waking life unbond her. But she wanted him to punish the man. No, she just wanted to be free. Just do something, Sandman, that he would set me free. So Sandman was mad because they
for like 10 minutes because the other live.
Sorry about that. So yeah, so Sandman was mad. Him and her was married before, and and he didn't treat her good or something like that. And so he was upset that they kept bonding her for centuries. And he said he's going to do something to the man even worse. Okay, the first man she was with, became very successful, but at the end he killed himself. he gave her to this new man who lost creativity, and he started using her as well. He started getting rich. So Sandman, this is the last episode of Sandman too. And so Sandman was upset. So he made the man have all kind of ideas, so much ideas he was just spitting out ideas. So it was hurting him. He couldn't stop. So that made him, because he started writing stuff in his hand with his hand in blood. He just couldn't stop doing anything. So that made him release her. And when he released her, um, she asked Sandman to release the man from his pain, and Sandman said he was not. He was going to leave him in misery. Um, Also, before that, they also showed about cats, and I'm thinking about the queen, the cats. They say they are alien extraterrestrials as well. Who is the cat god in Egypt? Basset. So they were talking about Basset because they had a thing where cats were being treated bad. You know, in different countries now they're killing animals and saying they have bringing diseases and all kind of stuff like that. So it started off with a cartoon type, and it was showing that the cats was fed up or how the humans were treating them, and it'll be their time. Wasn't that before? If everything starts over, right? So that means that certain things, maybe these are all kind of gods in different. I read y'all about different gods were making people a different in their image. So maybe they all had a part in the first beginning. Maybe that's where the fight is coming from. I don't know. But they were specifically talking about the cats were angry at the humans, and they wanted to go back to the time where they above was above the humans, and the humans were like the cats, taking care of them. Okay. Um, so that's best said. And they want their ruling back. So the sleep guard gave the last man that bonded her. Okay, that we back to Sandman. A lot of information that made him pick ideas and despair. Okay, with spare disorder. Okay. So what's coming? Will there be more people in sorrow, killing themselves, getting caught in their head? Who will it be? The one who are selfish? Who will be doing this? Um, so that's a red flag for us, right? So start noticing how your mind and how your feelings and how your thoughts are, you know. And we remember we got these jealous people also that want to throw you off your game, throw you off as if they ever could, and come through all type of ways, right? Then we got Zeus' grandfather and father and Cronus, father Earth. So we back to the lady I was talking about in Sandman. So is that I remember he was married to Herodus, right? And he was always messing over her and all that kind of stuff. So so Uranus is Zeus's grandfather and father of Cronus, father of Earth, third largest planetary radius and fourth largest planetary mass in the solar system, Uranus. Mass and matter together. Okay, so then it switched to, well, then I will switch to the moons of Uranus. And those are females, right? Supposed to be females. Now it's 27 of them, but I'm gonna do one at a time. I'm on Ariel, because Ariel is very popular. And it says, what signs are these moon? Okay, and it says, what does these moon do? Okay, is this the time of alchemists, shamans, warlocks, witches, sorcerers that were hiding today, and there were come people beginning to know who they are, and the ones who've been knowing who they are. Remember the movie Once Upon a Time series on Netflix? I don't know if y'all watched that. They said it came on TV before, but I didn't watch it. I started watching TV. And it shows up the witch took them from medieval times and brought them into this time, right? So oh, and it was another I did a while back on one of my videos of a man who figured out the potion. He was an alchemist, so he figured out a potion mixed with gold that could make him travel to this time to protect whatever happened during those times, medieval times, was dangerous for him and his wife. So he made a potion for them to go into the future. I think like about 500 years he stayed into the future, or 200 years, something like that. And then they came back as stuff evolved, and they started because there were books made on him of the things that he did. So he came back to tell them about how he did it. But I think eventually they killed him or something, of course they did. And I was watching a movie called The Travelers. I'm not finished watching it all. But I noticed that the travelers from the future took over bodies that they know exactly the time and date they were going to die. And some of the bodies they chose, they thought they were strong, and some of the bodies were not strong. Some people that died anyway without them coming in. But anyway, they went into their body and in order to come and save Earth. So because of what they seen in the future. So they came and they took over these people, certain people bodies, just regular Joes, and they took over their bodies to go and defeat the evilness that's here, that's going to try to destroy things or make things happen where they can be still in control. I thought that was pretty interesting too. I'm not finished watching it. I know the first thing they destroyed it was going to be a bomb that was going to be planted to kill over so many amounts of people. So they did manage to stop that. Okay. Okay, back to the cat. I'm sorry, y'all, all over the place. Okay, but it all goes together. What was the cat rulership like? Why did it end? And when did Zeus and the others rule? Okay, I want to ask that too. What's best said? Was Beset ruling the same time as Zeus? Oh, shit. Was Beset ruling the same time as Zeus? Of course, it's not going to tell me that. I don't even know why I even asked that question. I'll see, can I find that later? Yeah, I'm going to look it up. Okay. We go to Sabrina and the other witches and daughters. Lucifer helped keep the light shine. Okay. There was a part on Sabrina where she wanted attention from her friends, so she made up something about Bloody Mary, okay, and her friends come and help her banish Bloody Mary, hunt a cat. So she wanted the attention because she felt like she wasn't getting attention for her friends for all the stuff that she went through. If y'all seen the movie, y'all know what I'm talking about. So then after that, the darkness start coming in the form of miners. And I have something on the miners as well about today about the miners, matter of fact. And so the miners started coming in the forms of darkness, and they found some miners dead, and they brought them back to life for a second to ask them how did they die. So the miners started telling them about the darkness coming, the sorrow, despair, and nobody's going to stop them, and all that kind of stuff, and they're going to stop the light, and they're going to be back in medieval times. What's old is new is old, with everything repeats itself. So it's time for them to shine. But there was this horrible despair, like I was talking about at first. Um, so by Sabrina being the daughter of Lucifer, okay, um, she had the power, which she split herself in half. You have to see the picture, and she made one of herself stay in hell because Lucifer is the ruler of hell. So they say, okay, and she stayed with her aunts and them with the witches and all of that kind of stuff. So they both had to come together to handle this darkness. So she was the only one that could do it, all right, to stop them from taking control. It says on Sabrina, the gypsies brought the old ancestors and the first god. So this was before that darkness came. It was another episode about the gypsies. And they were bringing back the first gods. And I'm assuming this is before Wait a minute, still wondering, was this the first fallen angel or before the fallen angels came to earth? So I'm not clear about that. Because he or she was made from trees. So what they sprouted up from this flower, I need to get the name of the flower. So about that. It grew into a gigantic tree and it needed a virgin and fitting for Virgo month, right? Because Virgo is the virgin of the month, right? So you see a lot of signs in this, a lot of zodiac signs. So still wondering, was this the first fallen angel or before the fallen angels? Because he or she was made from the trees, or is this the gods, goddesses of the planet? So is this Mother Nature's, Mother Earth's normal, her, that they risen up? Because the gypsies were upset of all the destruction and despair and manipulation and sacrificing of the animals, right? So they wanted it to go back and destroy them that were doing havoc and just anything they wanted, and take Mother Nature's planet back. Of course, they're gonna defeat it on the movie. Of course, okay. Um, that have the right to rule again and take back their planet. So that's unclear to me. Who was first? That's why I want to travel. That's why they're trying to block me from traveling. Okay. Not Lucifer and okay, Lucifer and the devil and Satan are not the same. Okay. If y'all look at some of my old videos, I explain how they made each one to make one. And it started off with a woman. I won't get off on that. They brought Pan back. Okay, Pan was also back. If y'all remember my episode on Pan, remember their picture. Beelzebub, like I said, Beelzebub supposed to be the Satan and Lucifer, all that to mix together with different god and goddesses to fool us using Pan and Lucifer more to make fears. But that's what their main thing was, to make fear. Okay, back to the history of the gypsies. Now I don't know if y'all remember Cher. Of course, everybody remembers Cher. When her and Sonny Bono first started, she let me see, where is Cher from? I think she's from.
Showing pictures that match.
They say she's from California, but her family blood nationality is, I think she's Romanian. Um, German and Cherokee ancestry. So she's German and Cherokee ancestry. I thought she was let me see. Because it was a part in another movie I seen. What was that I was watching the other night? Oh, shoot. I think I mentioned that movie as well. Was it Constantine? Whatever movie it was showing the gypsies. Oh, was that Constantine? No, that was the one. I can't think of the name of it right now. But anyway, they were showing how the Germans had power over the gypsy, the Romanian people. And I looked up their god, their, how do you say it? Controller, whatever it is. I'm gonna go back to that in a minute. Hold on. Cherokee ancestor. Let me see. Father's side is German, but more Irish, Dutch, French heritage, and her on her unlimited. Okay, her father's side English and German, with more distant Irish, Dutch, and French heritage on her mother's side. The father deserted the family when Cher was young, and her mother later married Bank Gilbert Lepre. Um, her real name, Sherilyn Sarkowskin, Sarkisien. Um, But anyway, she had a song called Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves. Y'all probably heard of that. Y'all can go listen to that. But they was talking about how powerful they were, and they wanted to shun them out, away from everything. But they had the right, because the history of the gypsies, or Jacob's son Simon. That's one. His curse from his father to be a wanderer. Okay, what was the curse of the tribe of Simon? Okay, Jacob pronounced the curse upon the anger of Simon and Levi, no doubt remaining when they were treacherous and barbarous. I think they did right when they killed the men and the people who raped their sister Diana. That reminds me of Will Smith taking up for his wife Jada, and everybody tried to shun him. You know, I don't know. It just came to my head. Um, Part of the tribe of Simon was apparently absorbed by Judea, while others members possibly relocated to the north. After the death of King Solomon, Palestine split into the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judea. Wait a minute, that's not what I want. What was the sin of Simon? Simon and his brother Levi took violent revenge against the inhabitants of the city by tricking them into circumcising themselves and then killing them when they were weakened. The account dramatized the theme of tension between marriage within a group in the Grammy and the marriage with outsiders. No, that was about their sister. Um, so that's why they did that. I made a video on that as well. You know, it got me 12 tribes. I'm still researching on more of that. So we got Simon, Scotland, Dominican Republican, organized military. Greek agreed to let Joseph be captain. Gold, Bronze Age, geometry. It's a lot of. I'm still researching on Simon, but that was the gypsies because their punishment from their father was to wander. Here it is. Let's see. Um, See, Levi got pardoned. They separated them because Levi is the queen of England and all of that. Those are the Levi, the priest of Vatican. Okay, I think I already said the one of my videos somehow. Carmen was surrounded by deer, no power. Okay, so he got out of his dad took him out of the promise, the put a curse, but the creator didn't have anything to do with it. He did give them some land, but by the dad saying, you will be wandering, you will be servants to your brothers, um, and they don't care about money. They don't care about any of that. They go and have shows. That could be your circus people, stuff like that, right? That travel. Okay, it's all type of gypsies. Gypsies is actually, I did research that before. What is it at? Gypsies are actually not the real name. I think I mentioned that before. It was what the Romans gave them their name because he didn't know they came from the area of Egypt. Okay, and Egypt could be, Africa could be all over. So they came from the north. They resided in the north because that's where some of their land was. But anyway, I will get off to more of that. I'm telling bit by bit as I find out. And also, Cain was also to be a wanderer. So you got the Cain people from Cain that are gypsies as well. And then, okay, like I said about Romanian people, gypsies. And then you have, they call people homeless now, that people prefer to stay out in the streets. Now, a lot of people on the streets for a lot of different reasons, but a lot of them are gypsies. See, America don't want you to know America's fake. It's $2 bill, well, three, $4 bill, because $2 bill is real, and $3 bill is real. But anyway, so most of them are gypsies, are wanderers of the tribe, the lost tribe of Israel. Like a lot of us trying to find out who we are, what does that entitle, what does that mean? Okay, and why it's so hard for them to let us get what's rightfully ours. You know, of course, because they don't want us to, right? But the time was always new, and was always was supposed to be at the beginning, it's supposed to be redone, and it's supposed to be in the back. So whatever's for us, we're going to get. It's just a matter, I think, of us finding out what is it. Okay, then I told you I picked out. Let me see before I get ahead of myself. Cause I know I'm all over the place, yeah. Okay, let's see. Something I was going to read. I picked one moon from Uranus, like I said, and I picked Ariel. I hate when I can't find what else I picked. It pisses me off, and I try to make room for it anyway. Um, this is for some Ariel Dorfman. How Spanish can help us survive viral time. So I was looking at what this Spanish mean in what does area mean in Spanish? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I got my little notes too. And it says a journey into the heart of a language we need now more than ever. It's in Spanish. I don't know what that means. When Jennifer Lopez shouted out that last line plague of allegedly in Spanish during Joe Biden's inauguration ceremony, like so many Spanish speaking Latinos in the United States, I felt a sense of pride, a sense of arrival. It was a joy to hear my native language given a prominent place at the moment when the need to pursue the promise of liberty and justice for all couldn't be more pressing. A sense of arrival, I say, and yet Spanish arrived on these shores more than centuries before English. In that language, the first European explorers described what they called El Nuevo Mundo, the New World, new for them, even if not for the indigenous people who had inhabited those lands for millennia, only to be despoiled by the invaders from abroad. The conquistadors lost no time in claiming their territories as possessions of the Spanish crown and simultaneously began naming them. Much as we may now deplore these colonial depictions, we still regularly use the words they left behind without considering their origins. Florida, which derives from flower in Spanish, because Ponce de Leon first alighted at Tampa Bay on Easter Sunday in 1513. And then there is Santa Fe, Holy Faith, and Los Angeles, the Angels, founded in 1610 and 1782 respectively, and so many other names that we now take for granted. Montana, Nevada, derived from Montanas and Nevada or snow. Aguadulce, Aguadulce, El Paso in Colorado, and named just a few. And my favorite place name of all, California. Okay, share of California, which comes from a legendary island featured in one of the books of cavalry that drove Don Quixote, the chapter created by Monte, Montegal de Cervantes, I know that word, but I can't say it. Cervantes, mad and set him on the road to seek justice for all. It was not justice, not justified. However, the millions who kept Spanish alive over the centuries were to encounter in the United States. On the contrary, what started here as an imperial language ended up vilified and marginalized as vast swaths of land inhabited by Spanish speakers came under the sway of Washington. As George Grandon has documented in his seminal book, The End of a Myth, the expansion of the United States, mainly into a west and a southwest once governed by Mexico, led to unremitting discrimination and atrocities. It was in Spanish that the victims experienced those crimes, the girls and women who were raped, the men who were lynched by vigilantes, the families that were separated, the workers who were deployed, the children who were forbidden to speak their native tongue, the millions discriminated against, mocked, and despaired, all suffering such abuse in Spanish, while holding on to the language tremendously and passing it on to new generations, constantly renewed by immigrants from Latin America. Through it all, the language evoked with the people who used it to love and remember, fight and dream. In the process, they created a rich literature and a vibrant tradition of perseverance and struggle. As a result, from that suppressed dimension of American history and resistance, Spanish is today able to offer up words that can help us survive this time of pandemic that we've that what we've discovered navigated as I navigated the many pestilence raging our lives in the last year. The Spanish I've carried with me since my birth has lessons of hope and inspiration, even from my fellow citizens who are not among the 53 million who speak it. Words of aliento from our current struggle. Aliento tops the list of Spanish words that have recently mattered most to me. It means breath, but also encouragement. Alentar is to give someone the chance to breathe, to harden them. Think in English of the word encourage, which comes from the same root of the heart in Spanish. It's worth remembering these connections today when so many are dying because they lack breath and not even a ventilator can save them because they don't have aliento. Their heart stops. And aliento, it looks like alien. Okay. Perhaps they can't breathe because others don't have the courage to help them survive, didn't rage against the conditions that allowed them to die unnecessarily. Recall as well that so many of us in this country felt suffocated in another sense, breathless with the fear that we wouldn't survive as a republic, not as a democracy. However imperfect it might have been. Maybe that's why last year so many Americans felt represented by the next to last words of George Floyd, repeated more than 20 times before he died. I can't breathe. If he had cried out these words in Spanish, he would not have grasped. Though that would have been true, he would undoubtedly have said, No Pedro Respirado. I don't know how to say it, y'all. Respiro. English speaks use the verb to breathe, but can certainly appreciate the various echoes Espiro has in English since it's derived from the same word in Latin, suspira, that has bequantum us spirit, inspired and aspire. When we inhale and exhale in Spanish, I like to think that we're simultaneously in communion with the sort of spirit that keeps us alive when the going is rough. In normal times, the sharing of air is a reminder that we are brothers and sisters, part of the same humanity, invariably inhaling and exhaling one another, letting so many others into our lungs and vice versa. But these times are far from normal, and the air sent our way by strangers or even loved ones can be toxic, can lead to us expiring. So rather than breathe together in 2021, we need to inspire each other to aspire together for something better. We need to band together in conspiracy of hope so that every one of us on the planet will be granted the right to breathe, so that good things can transpire. As to as so many of the initial measures of the Biden-Harris presidency suggest, to begin to undo the venomous diversiveness of the Trump era, we all need to tomorrow alien to or breathe in new ways to survive. We need to have more vital jauntus or life with one another in order to go beyond the mass solitude of this moment. Here comes the sun, but let it be for all. So solidar originates from the same word, solitude. It undoubtedly will sound familiar to English speakers, but the Spanish syllables of solidar radiate with the word sol, the sun, that a antidote to loneliness and separation, which rises for all and all rise for none, which warns us all of fries us all or heals us all. So Saladar also contains the suffix dad from the verb dar to give, telling us again that the way out of isolation is to be as generous as sunlight to one another, especially to those who have more idea, who, that is, are older and therefore a greater risk. Now, to me, it's by them saying that I'm getting thinking that the more they're isolated and make us hate, like I've been saying before, and look down on yourself at first, and then hate others, will bring more darkness. So we actually doing that, okay? So in order to keep the sun shining out, we have to be more loving, and caring, and encouraging to each other. That's what I'm getting out of it. Um, Especially though, okay. Telling us again that the way of the isolation is to be as generous as sunlight to one another, especially those who have more edad, who, that is, an older or therefore a greater risk. To be that generous so is not so. It may take a lot of work to care for those in need when one is also facing grief and hardship oneself. A labor that is frequently difficult and painful as the Spanish word of work Trabajo means us, reminds us. Trabajo is not just physical labor or extortion. It brings to mind something more distressing. The last novel that Cervantes wrote after finishing Don Quixote word was called Los Trabajos. Okay. Trabajos. Name some other stuff can't pronounce in Spanish. And their trabatos refer to the torments and trials that two lovers go through before they can be united, right? Okay, let's see. Think of travatos as akin to travas in English, and indeed, many who toil among us right now during this pandemic are going through special travels and trouble to keep us fed and shelter and safe, called essential workers. Many of them have journeyed here from foreign lands after terrible travels and travels of their own. Two worlds, I was talking about the travelers, right? Two worlds that derive from the same torturous linguistics roots. That's what I was trying to do there. Okay. As in the era of Cervantes, so in our perilous times, to leave home to wander in search of a secure haven in a merciless, merciless world is an ordeal beyond words in many languages. It gives me solace, though, that when so many of those migrants crossed the border into the United States, where I now live, they brought their Spanish with them, their throwers and lives full of aliento, says some more stuff, Trevino soul. Now many be Now many be the time to record them, or rather, recordos, in the deepest meaning of that word, which is to restore them to our hearts, to open those hearts to them at a moment when we are all subject to such trials and plagues. In concrete policy terms, this would mean creating a true path to citizenship for so many millions like in documentals. It would mean reuniting the families with Donald Trump and his crew separated at southern borders and finding the missing children. It would mean building less disruptive walls and more roads, caminos that connect us all. There is no undad without struggle. Not all words in Spanish, of course, need to be translated for us to understand them. Pandemia, corruption, yeah, discrimination. Looks you can look at it and tell violence are sadly recognized rhetoric similar in languages across the globe as are the more hopeful justice, rebellion, compassion. The same is true of President Biden's favorite word of the moment, undad, to whom we should add a verb whose indispensability he and the Democratic Party should never forget, at least if there is to be real progress, to struggle. Equally dispensable is a more primary word that we can immediately identify and make ours, mama, who has not called out to his or her mother in hour of need, as George Floyd did at the very end of his existence. But the Spanish version of that word contains, I believe, a special renaissance related as it is to mamar, to suckle, to drink milk from material breasts, as all mammals do, and so to that first act of human beings after we take that initial breath and cry. For those of us who are grown up, an additional kind of substance is required to face an ominous future, a hope, a word that fittingly stems from the same origin as despair. No, despair, or whatever. Many decades ago, Spanish welcomed me into the world, and I am grateful that it continues to give me aliento in a land I've now made my own. It reminds me and my fellow citizens, my fellow humans, that to breathe and help others draw breath is the foundation of Esteria, the native language that I first heard from my mama. Even though she is long dead, still whisper the certainty that there is no other way for the spirit to prevail in these times of rage and solidarity and struggle, full of light and lure and Lucia, so we may indeed someday fulfill the promise of liberation, justice, okay, for all. Okay, that's pretty good, girl. Oh, another, okay, lean into it. Okay, okay, and I had this, I'll go back into Ariel now. Okay, this is some things I found on the moon on Uranus, Ariel. Just trying to find the truth, okay. Ariel moon. fourth largest of the 27 moons of Uranus, orbits and rotates seasonal cycles almost as much as Uranus does. Discovered on October 24th, 1851, special, thought to have the most recent have had the most recent geologic activity of Uranic larger moons, transcended by Gordons. I want to see what that was. Hold on a minute. Is a depressed block of the crust of the planet or moon bordered by parallel normal faults. Depressed block transected by depressed blocks. Piece of Earth's crust that is shifted downward in comparison to adjacent crust known as cores, which are shift upward. So it's down. Gordons or downward. Okay, so Ariel is to make you feel downward. Okay, let's keep reading. Faulted bond, bond valley, brightest surface of the five largest Uranus moons, but none of them reflect more than about a third of the sunlight that strikes them. Named after mischievous airy spirit in Shakespeare's play, The Tempest. Okay, Ariel, angel, seventh born, daughter of King Tridon and Queen Athena of an underwater kingdom of merfolk called Atlantean. Rebellious, okay, was that medieval times? They keep telling, okay. Longs to be a part of the human world. Remember the series on Netflix? Like I was telling before, I haven't watched it. Once upon a time, she marries Prince Eric, but she didn't do that on that show. Whom she rescued from a shipwreck, but once upon a time, so she did marry him. Something happened to her caused by the witches. She didn't marry him. That's what it did. Okay. But the movie says they have a daughter named Melody. Can't remember if they got back together or on the show or not. So Melody is music, right? What does melody mean? Sequence of a song notes that is musically satisfying. Musical satisfying sequences of notes collectively. The principal part in harmonized music. Simple terms. Pleasing arrangement of sounds. So when she got with the guy, they made melody because she was a trickster. So I guess supposed to calm everything down. Okay, let's go. Jewish demonology. She was the spirit of the waters, and the spirit of Uriel is also compared to her. The angel, Uriel. Whatever he says now, Uriel. In Isaiah 29, Ariel is a name for Jerusalem, the temptress. Disney's The Little Mermaid says this is what she is, a mermaid human. So she can um, eat something and walk on earth, like the Sumerians ate the kelp seafood, right? Seaweed. Powers. Capable of speaking with a aquatic fumar. Understand a communication with marine creatures. So, and whatever form she has. So she has to, anything that has water related, you know. Okay. She was imprisoned in a tree. Now, some say this is a he trapped by a witch. Sacronax, Sycorax, Caliban's mother, Prospero, used his magic to release her, then made her his servant in return. Knows where of the sea treasures are. Okay, so who knows what's really going on? In Hebrew, Ariel is a he made name unisex. Ancient Israel is line of God, means Ariel, spirit of fire, wrecked lung, Alison's ship. He buried he he burned like a flame and created terror and confusion there. He divided himself in a number of different places on the highest mast, the cross mast, and bow spirit, and the reunited into one again. The Hebrew Ariel first speak of mercy because he wanted to be free of Prospero deeds, his bidding. Lion of God, Hebrew and Isaiah 29 chapter verse 1 through 29 verse 2. Sorrow awaits Ariel, city of David, means an altar covered with blood. 29 chapter verse 7. I thought that was interesting since he was a 27th moon. So 2 plus 7 is 9. It's 29 chapter verse 7. Okay. Refers to Jerusalem. Okay, I know it's trying to 11 Samuel 23 chapter verse 20 and First Chronicle 11 chapter verse 22. Men of valor of Noab. Ezekiel 40, chapter 43 verse 16, reference to an altar heat, Hearth. Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 16, name of Jewish man, said he was not a rebel angel, something to do with war of heaven. The archangel Michael led against the dragon, devil or Satan, who will be defeated and thrown down to the earth. Remember, I was reading that when I told y'all the other day, those who read the Bible know what I'm talking about, but I was reading it when I had that dream about the gods. And heaven, related to fallen angels, Dead Sea Scrolls, that has a lot to do with it. Uh, Revelation 12, 7 through 10, and Qumran cave scrolls. Hebrew Jewish manuscripts discovered in 1946 at the Quadrum Caves. Keystone in the history of archaeology, old books surviving, building of the temple. So everything being back the way it was, even better. Solomon's temples that he made for the creator, right? So it's all going back to Solomon because they have me saying a lot of Solomon, which I love Solomon. I don't know. Special place in my heart for some reason. But anyway, yeah. Something else I wanted to talk about before we go. What was it? Bring it back to my memory. Oh, I know what I want to say. History of today's events. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. It was just some strange things, and then how I look outside. Okay, it says possible date of establishment of the league. IROQUOIS league. This date. Other research date places date between 1450 and 1660. Bishop Wilbraham of UTRECHT grants S.W. Swell State Justice. German King Hendrik the Seventh makes his son Johann king of Bohemia. King the Sixth becomes king of England at the age of 9 months. Um, 1745 Jacobite Rising. 1745 Bonnie Prince Charlie reaches Blair Castle, Scotland. Pretended to pretended to the British throne. Bonnie Prince. Okay. 1751, British troops under Sir Robert Clive occupied Arcot, India. In 1772, hurricane destroyed ships off Dominica. 1778, British killed 17 Stockbridge Indians in Bronx during Revolution. 1836, MSA Beagle anchors in Post-Age Praia, Cape Verde Islands. History event. 1837, Ralph Waldo Emerson gives his famous The American Scholar speech to Phi Beta Kappa Society at Harvard College, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Declares American literary independence for Europe. He was a lecturer and a poet. In 1742, Mikan Rugger patents a nuts and bolts machine. In 1842, U.S. Naval Observator authorized by Act of Congress. Okay, I'm gonna go through here and see what all of it is important. Okay, maybe I want to look at it. Okay, um, 1886, Crocker Woolworth National Bank organized, business tycoon and railroad executive, murder of interest. In 1888, the body of Jack the Ripper's first victim, Mary Ann Nichols, Nichols, is found in Whitechapel in London's East End. First victim of Jack the Ripper, Mary Ann. Okay, thought that was interesting. Okay, but yeah, it's a lot of interesting things that happened today. Um, Niels Louis Napoleon Parker's Rosemary premieres in New York City. History: 1891, British General Kitchever's German, I'm assuming, army occupies Barber, north of Ki. His last name was Kitchener, apostrophe s, and he occupied north of Khartoum, General and Secretary of War. 1897, Thomas Edison patents the kinetoscope, a camera device which produces moving pictures. Inventor. British troops in 1900s overrun Johannesburg. I was talking about Johannesburg. I'm for another time. Okay, that's enough. I know I bore y'all. Whatever, whatever, man. Okay, but yeah. So that's the report I have for now. Okay. Um, on the spirits of despair and sorrow, doom and gloom. So just pay attention because today was like it was roaring thunder. It was like wasn't really a lot of rain. It was like a lot of activities going on in the stars and the ethers and it could be in the clouds. It could be. I always say like this: we here got the clouds where man and whoever can play with. Okay, and then we have the real, like my kind of like what Michael Jackson showed on his song, Earth Song. Remember that song? He separated the clouds between the real trees that's shining And that's their playground. We'll do him another day. But anyway, y'all can look it up yourself. Okay, that's what I got. Let me see. I want to write a little more. And let y'all go. I'm done. Okay. Hope I'm spelling this right. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. I'll be whatever. Make no excuses. It's what I'm told to do. It's what they're giving me. It's what I'm doing. Okay. Love y'all. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. I really appreciate it. Until next time, y'all have a great day. Okay. Stay safe and aware and work. Pay attention. Okay. Listen. Don't be distracted. You can have fun, but you can also be aware of your surroundings. Love y'all. Bye.